Hey, I want to share something really quickly with y'all. Um, I was just thinking about this, but a few weeks ago, I was watching the movie The Book of Eli, right? It's set in a time where a lot of the earth had been destroyed, you know, and things were messed up. People were scavenging around to find food, to find shelter, all of these things. And then, if you remember, there was this one particular city that was ran by, I don't remember his name in the movie, but it was ran by a guy, and he had his henchmen with him, and they were wild, doing all kind of things. But he was in pursuit of the Bible in the movie, right? He was trying to find this one particular book, and for a while they never told you what the book was. But that was it in a nutshell. But I want you to pay attention to what Denzel Washington's character said to the young lady that was with him, as he was explaining to her how the old world used to be. Um, he said this, and I want to read it because this is important. He said, people had more than they needed. We had no idea of what was precious or what was not. Here in the West, particularly in the US, I think that's where we are right now. We've gotten comfortable. We we're not used to being without, you know, even in some places where you're poor, you still have more than people in other parts of the world that live in a different kind of poverty. Um, I've come from a place here in the U.S. of poverty where there was struggle in the household. Maybe it was a single parent household, whether it was just the mother or the father. Um, and that means it's one stream of income and people doing whatever they need to. You might have somebody who they're having to hustle and sell drugs just to, to get by. You have somebody that may having to work two, three, four jobs just to get by. But we get by. And you have some places in the world where it's so bad people are looking for scraps to eat out on the streets, right? We get a little bit of that here. But I think it's important because he said we had more than we had. And I think of Paul, where he said that, and I'm paraphrasing, I've been without, right? I've lacked some things, right? And then he discussed that I've had plenty, I've had an abundance of things, right? And in whatever situation he found himself in, he knew how to be thankful, grateful, and he knew how to maintain in the midst of his circumstances. I want you to think about the simple fact that at times you have exactly what you need. Exactly what you need. You have a place to lay your head. You have food to eat every day, whether it's the type of house, apartment you want to live in, if it's the type of car that you want to drive, whether it's an old car or a new car, uh, whether you're just eating noodles or just rice or, frozen dinners or whatever, you still have what you need. And when I think about it, he's right in a sense that sometimes when you have had more than you've needed for a long time, you forget what's really precious. Um, I think, in a sense, some people are not going to like this and some people are going to get upset. But I think, in a sense, we've lost something else that's precious in our day because we're so focused on getting the latest and greatest form of technology that for many of us, we don't even know how to be and interact with other human beings anymore. We're so used to being behind the screen. We're so used to scrolling and swiping right and swiping left that we begin to forget what is actually precious. Sitting down, enjoying a meal together, sitting down and enjoying each other's company, sitting down and watching a movie together, going for a walk, you know, going for a ride in the car and just talking. Just go ride for about 45 minutes or an hour throughout town and just talk, catch up. We miss those things that are precious, and we got to get back to some basic things and quit worrying about getting more. Worry about getting more. See, when you've been without, I resonate with Paul when he said he's had a lot and then he's only had a little bit. I resonate with that. When you come out of a place of poverty growing up, you've watched either your mom and your dad or just your mom or just your dad struggle to keep the lights on, pay the bills. And I'm actually blessed that even though my mom and my dad were not together and that they both worked multiple jobs to do whatever they needed to do, one thing about both of them is that they always looked out for family, helped out. Even with a little bit, they still were able to help out. And one thing about that is that that's precious. That even when I'm lacking or barely getting by, I see a need and I'm still able to bless other people. I'm looking at that quote again, and more than they needed. And I think when he was telling her that, he was just talking about just out in the world, just in general, not a specific country or any of that. And we just had more than we needed. And we began to forget those precious things like the relationships that we have. People are precious. There's more than just getting stuff. We see it with how people in Hollywood and professional athletes, after they've won the championships and had the big money contracts, and you done all of that, and then you're just like, wow, I don't know what else can I do. And then when you retire, you've done what you've loved all those years, and now it's just like, what do I do now? You feel like all your identity is put in these things. We forget what's precious. We have to go back to the basics of, I got a little bit, and there's nothing wrong with trying to get more and do better, but at what expense? At what expense will I say that I'm refusing to help somebody that I actually know, not a stranger that walks up to you, but some of us won't even help people that we know for fear that they might end up having more than us, for fear that I won't go get ready to buy that new this, and you can fill in the blank. One thing I can tell you, in these 45 years that I've been living, is that when we are not able to recognize what is precious, things can go terribly wrong in our lives. Just something to think about. I was thinking about it and just wanted to share. Grace, mercy, and peace be with you.